Oh, I was going to say, can we like wrap it up a little? I got to go to bed soon.
Oh shit, it's 10 o'clock. We've been doing this for 5 hours?
Seriously.
We got...
No, I was
all
looking, I was like, oh shit, it got late.
All right, so let's...
We skipped dinner.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 25 of the On the Runs podcast. I'm live again in my bedroom full of, guess what? Laundry. I feel like I'm in the movie Groundhog Day. Every time we record from home, I am just
thing over and over and over again.
surrounded with laundry. But again, acoustics, it really helps. Erica, how are you?
I'm good. I am in my spare bedroom. This time I have Maisie sleeping in the corner. She is not bothering me. She's being a good little mascot. So hopefully she stays over there.
Labor Day weekend, everyone. Hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. I feel like everybody this weekend was at the Hopkinton Fair.
I wasn't.
You weren't. Everyone else was. Everyone on Instagram was at the fair. And I went to the fair and it was awesome. Did you see the videos of the kids and the sheeps and
that
the
cow
goats?
was
and
so cute.
the cow and the auction were gigantic. I saw everyone there. Everyone on like the Instagram that we follow, they were there. Some of my hockey referee friends were there. It was like, or I saw them on Instagram. It was the place to be. It was like everyone in New England went to that fair this weekend. It was insane. I'm really excited for fair season because like just the weather's so much better and it's cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyways, everyone but you, what were you doing if you didn't go to the fair?
I had my own hands full. My dad was up for a couple of days. It was my anniversary with Brandon, and weather was nice, and I got to hang out with some of my high school friends. So I had my own stuff going on. It was fun. You know, honestly, there's not a whole lot going on with me, but I hear that you have a pretty interesting story to tell the listeners, yeah?
You talking about the truck?
Yeah, I'm talking about the truck.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, we didn't record last week. We were supposed to have an interview last Monday. It was going to be an epic interview. We were going to talk to a girl named Bethany. We'll save that for later. But I woke up Monday morning. I didn't have to take anyone to school, so I just grabbed my stuff, and I had the gym clothes in my bag. I had my backpack, and then I walked out the door, and the door swings open and closes behind me, and I'm looking, and I'm like, "Where's my truck?" I see the van, but I don't know where my truck is. And I look back at Ashley, who's in the kitchen. I go, sometimes she gets up at 4, right? Sometimes maybe she ran to Rite Aid, and you can park in the front or the back of the house. So my first thought was, did you park in the front of the house? She goes, no, I didn't go anywhere. I go, my truck's gone. And I looked at her, I go, is this a joke? And she goes, no, I didn't do anything. And I'm like, my truck's missing. And I thought like for 2 seconds, like, oh my God, what did I do? Did I park? I was so lost and confused. And then I said, I think my truck's stolen. And I'm like, it's absolutely stolen. What are you talking about? You think it's stolen? It's gone. It's missing. Where's my truck? It's like, dude, where's my car?
Not how you want to start a Monday or any day. Let me preface by saying that. But
right.
Wow, dude.
So I get on my phone and I Google the Manchester Police Department, and I'm like, and then I'm looking at my neighbor's car, and her door looks like it's been open. And I'm like, oh, crap. Our street got hit up last night.
Dude.
And I'm looking around. I'm walking down the street as I'm on the phone with the cops, and I notice this guy's car, his door is wide open. And I noticed another car, it looks like the door was open. And so about 4 cars on our street all got, broken into. But nothing else went missing in their cars besides maybe pocket change. Maybe the guy trashed the inside. So I call the cops. The cops come. I just give them all the information. I call my insurance. And I was just so baffled and confused. And then I'm thinking to myself, you stupid idiot. You left the keys inside. And I'm like, and then I realized I don't think I left them inside. I'll tell you where I thought I left them. But yeah. I drove the van last, which I don't typically drive the van. And I remember getting home at 11:30 at night, Sunday night, and locking in the van, and the van's interior light is on. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, is it on? When will it turn off? I don't want the battery to die. And I'm messing with it for a few minutes. Typically, every night when I get home from hockey, usually, I lock my truck and then I grab the van keys and I lock it because you know what? It could be unlocked. I always lock the cars. I'm the guy who always locks the cars and the doors. And I told Ashley, lock the van. Why are the keys in the van? The one time. So the last time I drove my truck was when I went to, Adeline and I went biking on the rail trail. Well, she biked, I ran. And then we met Ashley at BJ's. And you know how, do you ever go to BJ's?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So BJ's is like you buy everything in bulk. Basically, you don't bag anything. So you put everything in your shopping cart and you pay for everything, you put it back in and you load your vehicle up. So you don't have shopping, you don't have bags. You just have big bulky stuff like a 20-pack of raviolis or a 36 eggs so you don't have bags. Well, because I was running, I was wearing my running shorts and they didn't have pockets. If my memory serves me right, and I started to think this later, I turned off my truck. I walked outside to grab things. And I'm like, I have nowhere to put my keys. So I think I actually put my keys on the bed of my truck, on the bed cover.
No. And they stayed there, you think?
Yeah. So I unloaded the truck. I unloaded everything except our bikes. My bike and Adeline's bike was there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when I went out at night, I was like, you know what? I don't want to take my truck because the bikes are there. And I just don't want to take them off right now. I was being lazy. So I took the van, and when I got home at 11:30, I just locked the van, and I had the little deal with the lights. And like I said, Monday, my truck was missing. So, yeah, that sucked because I lost my truck, my bike, Adeline's bike, and as the next 48 hours passed, every hour I'm reminded of something like, oh, my Bluetooth headphones that I bought for myself for Christmas, like my Christmas gift. And I'm like, oh, my checkbooks are in there because I paid on the day before something for cheerleading. So now he has my checks. So now I have to call the bank. And I called insurance and I'm taking care of everything. And the cops, I'm like, I really hope they can find it. But honestly, there's more important things for them to be doing than combing the streets looking for my truck. And speaking of combing the streets, shout out to my best friend, Steve Spain, who works for himself, takes care of his kids all day with his wife, Kelly. You know, he works out of his house. And just bought a house and is currently like waist deep in demolition around his house, trying to fix it up so they can actually live in it.
Mm-hmm.
He stopped everything he was doing, drove down in his van. So he grew up in Manchester. He knows the streets. We combed the streets, me and him, for, close to 4 hours. I was actually able to ride shotgun in his van and actually look versus driving and trying to pay attention and not hit a car, don't run a red light, don't run a stop sign,
Yeah.
I was actually able to, and he did that with me for 4 hours and we came up with nothing. So, I mean, that's fine. We got to hang out kind of in an unfortunate way, but we were, shout out to him for coming and doing that with me. So.
You're a good dude, Steve.
Tuesday happens and I finally go back to work. My mom loans me her car. I got to figure things out. Tuesday I was so sad, but Wednesday I was no longer sad. My emotions were like all over the place, just confused on Monday, sad on Tuesday. Wednesday I was over
You're going through the stages of grief.
Yeah, I was. Wednesday I was, I started to make fun of the whole situation and I told Scott Black, this is his episode part 3. He's got a big ass dually pickup truck and a Porsche. And I'm like, hey, if you need anyone to drive your Porsche around, for the next couple of weeks, I know a guy.
I'll volunteer.
Right. And I just downloaded like the Cars app and Car Gurus and all these apps on my phone. And I have a plan for when I want to buy my next truck. It wasn't now, but I know I'm going to have to and have a car payment again. And I'm not looking forward to it. So about 10:30, I get a phone call from the Manchester Police Department for the first time since like 1 o'clock on Monday. And the woman's voice was so optimistic. And she goes, hi, Eric, how are you today? And I'm like, I'm fine, She goes, well, we found your truck. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Are you kidding me?
Did you actually swear on the phone?
Probably not. That was exaggeration. I was like, what? Are you for real? Holy shit.
Right?
I was like,
honestly, dude, you told me and I was like, no way. There's no way they found your truck. No freaking way.
Well, so they didn't find it. some guy in Derry, New Hampshire found it, and it was so they said, well, we don't have it. It's in Derry, and call the Derry Police Department. So I called them, and they go, yeah, it's on this road, and we're looking at it. It doesn't appear to be damaged. Actually, the person wasn't looking at it. They said, because that person was at dispatch, but they said, we know your keys are on the front seat. So do we have permission to open your car and take your keys to the police department? So I'm like, yes, because don't leave them another hour there for someone else to take my truck. So I leave work, I drive to the Derry Police Department, grab my keys, I drive to my truck, and there's my truck right there. And I'm like, there she is. Right. So everything in my truck was exactly where I left it. The Bluetooth headphones, my checkbook, which I still canceled the bank account, car seat, Adeline's bike. The only thing missing was my bike. It's my Specialized Roubaix. It's like 7 years old, so it's not the triathlon bike. It's still a 23.
That's what I didn't know. Ooh, that's at least better news, I guess, because a tri-bike is a lot of money to replace.
Well, it's still a $2,300 bike. But
how much is a tri-bike?
Oh,
a lot.
Some could be 15 grand. My tri-bike was 3,600.
Yeah.
I actually made payments.
Smart.
Thank you, hockey. My bike's missing, and the crossbars that it was locked to. So they obviously had to take the crossbars off. They sit above the bed to get my bike, and they stole my bike. So I get in the truck. It runs fine. I can tell he only drove 11 miles because the last thing I did when I had it was at BJ's. I filled it up with gas. I drove 1.5 miles home. And when I turned the truck on, it said, because I reset the odometer, it said 13.1 miles. I'm like, the guy only drove 11 miles. Okay, cool. He saved me my $60 in gas there. It's more than 60. Yeah. And I'm just thinking to myself, because Adeline's bike was in the back. Why didn't he take Adeline's bike? So then I quickly pull over. I open up the tailgate, and guess what else is in the back seat?
What?
The front wheel to my bike.
What a terrible thief. What a stupid person.
He stole a bike with one wheel. Like, he didn't think to look, where's the front wheel, because it locks with the fork on the crossbar. Where's the front wheel? Maybe it's in the bed. If he opened the bed, then he would have taken Adeline's bike too, which is brand new, by the way. Just bought it for her kindergarten graduation. So this guy has a one-wheeled bike, and my thought is, he must be really good at riding a wheelie.
He's gonna have to be. Oh my God.
So most of everything he did on our street was caught on video, by the way. He tried to break into everyone's garage. So I live on a dead-end street. Actually, there's 2 streets on either side of my house, and one end's a dead-end street where we park. And this guy's camera is shooting all the way up where you can see our cars in our house on his camera. So he tried to break into everyone's car, and pretty much he went into everybody's car that was unlocked. He tried to get into all the garage doors that were there, and we might have a small issue with our neighborhood, and maybe it just will help Ashley, say, all right, let's move.
Time to go.
Well, maybe next summer, but we need this housing market to do something. I could sell right now and make like $200,000 on what we paid on it. But, the house I want, it's well over $700K, and a couple years ago it was maybe $450.
Oh, yeah.
So
even my house has gone up by like 50% of what I paid.
Why don't we sell both our homes and just live in the camper?
Oh, I ain't doing that. There's no room for my treadmill.
We'll put it under an easy up.
No way. All
right.
But one thing I was happy about, you were super depressed. Like my truck was stolen, but one of the worst things, maybe not the actual worst, but you told me that your gooders that I gave you were in the truck.
Oh, that's right. I messaged.
Yeah, you told me, and you're like, I am so bummed because you gave them to me. And I was like, dude, they're just sunglasses. They're replaceable. So what did I go do? I went and I bought you a new pair, and they're on their way to your house right now. So I will take those back.
What? Wait, which ones you want back? The new pair or the ones you gave me?
You've been sweating in those. You can keep the pair I already had. But I was trying to make you feel better. But
I did really.
I'm so glad you got the truck and the glasses back.
That was honest, true emotions right there. I felt bad because like you just gave those to me, And if you didn't catch it on a previous episode, we went to your Ultra, and I forgot my sunglasses. You're like, here, have these ones, the Amelia Boone, ones that Doozer always wears. And I've been rocking them. No matter what outfit I have on it, whether they match or not, I've been wearing them. And because I'm trying to brighten up my style a little bit. I don't want to be like, you wearing all black and moody, So
there were sparkles involved. Okay.
We're both wearing black, by the way, today. So.
Oh, it's actually purple. It's just dim in my room. But,
all right.
But I wanted that to be the last thing of your worries, so I sent you a new pair.
I knew they were only like $40, and
they're $25. It's nothing.
Well, I knew it was nothing, but I really felt bad. I mean, I'm just every day went by and I was compiling a list of everything I just lost, and it wasn't a whole lot. And by the way, wow, shout out to everyone who shared on Facebook. Right, I made a Facebook post, which I almost never do, and it had over 170 shares. And so many people reached out trying to help me. Hey, I live in this area. I'm going to keep an eye out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So shout out to all of you for helping or trying to help and spreading the news. And as I told a lot of people who just felt so bad, I said, you know what? In the end, it's not going to be a big deal. I can buy a new truck. I can buy new sunglasses. I can get a new bike. The most important things were not taken, because everything that was stolen at the time was just a material item, and I could replace it. So
there you go.
That's what I constantly tried to remind myself. And I would say my mom and I, who both, my mom came over right away to help watch the kids so I could do everything, right?
Yeah.
She and I, what we felt the worst about was Adeline's bike, and we're really happy that came back. Somewhere we have a video of when Adeline comes to school. I'm going to end with this because this is going long and we got to get to our interview.
Yep.
Adeline found out about the truck and the bike, and she was sad. She absolutely was sad about her bike. But the Wednesday morning before I got the truck back, I'm driving her to school, and she brought it up. She goes, are we still looking for your truck? And I said, we're going to look every day, and the police are looking, and everyone's trying to help us. And she says, when we find the guy, I'm going to punch him in the face.
Oh.
And I
gotta teach her violence isn't the answer, but
I was happy and proud, but I also you know what? If we find the guy, he's going to get handcuffed, and that's a lot worse. So, and then a couple hours later, find the truck, the bike's there. Ashley picked up Adeline in the van, and there's a video somewhere of her, seeing the truck and opening the back and seeing her bike and being super excited. Aww. I'll have to find the video. It's on Ashley's phone, and I'll post that. I'll post that for everybody. So that's the story. I'm very happy. The journey to 300,000 miles continues. I'm currently at 227K.
Wow.
Yeah. Still runs like new. So
that's great.
Got my girl back. So anyways, all right, listen, that was long. Can we get to this interview real quick? People who have been, some people might've been waiting, and they're like, dude, stop boring us with this truck story. Good news. Or what is it? TLDR, too long didn't read. He got his truck back. Yeah. Truck got stolen. It's back. All right. Our interview today is Scott Black, and it's been a while since we talked to Scott last. Well, it's been a while since we talked to Scott, but remember it was the, this is part 3. We had the part 1 and part 2 that came out a while ago before our episode with Rachel, to be honest. And, we've had a good summer. We've had a busy summer, and it kind of just worked out great with timing to put it out now. Scott is leaving for Hawaii in a few days. And spoiler alert, right? Well, I think you already ruined that back earlier. So yeah, we probably did. It has been that long. I need to re-listen to all this stuff too. Well, let's recap. Episode 1, he talked about his Ironman Mount Tremblant. He was doing phenomenal, and with about 20 miles to go on the bike, he crashed. He broke his ribs. He had road rash, crazy road rash all over his body. At the aid station, they could only give him a Band-Aid and some water, or else it wouldn't count, and he's trying to qualify. How comforting, right? Right. He still finished 5th. That was part 1 for Scott Black. Part 2 was Cozumel. Oh, that was a doozy. And please go back and listen to that one if you haven't yet. Yes. We're in Cozumel, Mexico. I say we. Yes, I was there. And it was 90 degrees. He got dehydrated, and he got some diarrhea. And then we ended up in the hospital in Mexico. And
God.
about 4 hours later, he's doing jumping jacks at the hospital door because he feels great from all the IV bags. So that was the Mexico
Of course he
story.
does.
That's right.
That's a total normal thing to do after after an Ironman.
So this one's Norway and Coeur d'Alene, and they're both pretty great. I just finished editing like a few weeks ago, and I was really happy and enjoyed it because we interviewed him back in April, and it was like getting to listen to it all again and being reminded of how like, oh my God, that's right, and all this. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it was great, and it came with a lot of road bumps, and you're all going to enjoy this. You're going to enjoy the rest of his journey to Kona. So.
All right, guys, buckle up. You're in for a ride.
Enjoy part 3 of the road to Kona, Scott Black. All right, everyone, we are back for part 3. Back on location at Scott's place. We're downstairs in the man cave. No, it's the pain cave. In the pain cave. Where's Beast, by the way?
Beast is in the garage.
Beast is his tri-bike.
I thought it was a dog. And I'm like, oh, you have a dog. Where?
Why do you call the bike Beast?
Beast is a Marvel character.
As we know from earlier.
Wait, is it X-Men?
One of the X-Men.
Thank you. Okay, I'm like, oh, which one is Beast? All right, I do remember this now.
So that's what I'll use in October in Kona.
Spoiler alert.
Hey, we're going to get to it in this episode. So
let's get to it. Yeah, so we got 2 more Ironmans you've done because you've done 5 and we've gotten through 3. So last time we left off, you promised your girlfriend you would never do a race in the summer again. After you already promised her.
No, that's for good reason.
Yeah. But after you already promised her you'll never do a race, then you change it to, I'll never do a race in the summer. What was your next race?
So the secret to a good relationship, Eric, all right, some advice for you. It's all about compromise.
I thought the woman was always right. Happy wife, happy life.
So I didn't give her the choice, but the compromise was that I was going to go race in Norway. So week before June 29th, you drove me to, didn't you drive me to the airport or for this one? Or that was my daughter who drove me to the airport.
I don't think I did for this one. No, maybe I went with them.
No, you drove me for Idaho.
Okay. I did. I know
You're
that.
Right. So flying out to Norway, a tiny little town called Haugesund in the middle of freaking nowhere, Norway.
And let me tell you, I was very bummed out I didn't get to go. This was my first race I did not get to attend.
Right. The invitation was there,
but the ticket had my name on it if I wanted to go, but the timing didn't work out.
But I had a backup plan. My childhood friend flew out with his son from Paris, and they came to Sherpa for me. Now they weren't quite up to your standard, but they made a big effort and they were most helpful.
So let's get to the travel there. You took 3 flights?
Yeah. So Boston to Frankfurt, Frankfurt to Oslo, and Oslo to Haugesund on the coast. So quite different from Cozumel. This one was hilly and it was cold and the water was freezing cold. At some point, the wetsuit only helps so much.
I feel like you have to pee in it just so it's warm in there.
Well, thank you for bringing that up.
If you'd like to discuss that, this wasn't on the race, but the day after I got there, I went for a recon swim. So I get in the
checking it out. Is that
okay? I get in the rental car, drive to the lake, put my wetsuit on, go for my swim, and 20 minutes into the swim, my stomach goes like, burp. I'm like, I better head back to the shore. So I didn't make it to the shore. All this was in my wetsuit, and let me tell you, it was nice and warm.
Oh no!
But remember how I told you it was freezing cold? Mm-hmm. There is no way I was getting out of my wetsuit.
I don't blame you.
So I got in the car with the wetsuit still on, drove back to the hotel, parked in the street, walked down the street with the wetsuit on, and
nothing to see here.
Nothing to see. Went up the elevator with other people in the elevator, and finally unpacked when I got back to my room. And it was not a pretty
you
sight.
Do what you got to do.
I remember getting the video call right after that.
It was a good story.
Hey, I would call you if I had to do something like that. You're not going to believe this.
I hope I would be your first call.
Well, who else would I call?
Yeah.
We have a podcast called On the Run.
Right. So, race day was cold, and it was windy, and there was rain in the forecast. So we're waiting on the start line for the gun to go off, and there's lightning in the distance.
Wow.
And we were at the post race. The race director said we were like 5 minutes from canceling the swim, but the storm just passed the lake and was a little bit further north. So we only hit the lightning on the bike ride. Oh yeah. So thunder, lightning, howling wind on the bike ride.
That sounds awful. I want to hear more.
Yeah. So, I got out of the swim, freezing cold. My hands weren't working. My feet were completely numb. And then I had my first mishap coming out of the first lap of the water. It was a 2-loop swim. Mm-hmm. No, actually, it was on the second lap coming out of the water. I go to look at my watch on the wrist to see how I did on the second lap of the swim, and my watch is gone.
Oh no!
Yeah, my watch is sitting at the bottom of a lake in Norway, and I think it's going to be there forever.
Now, the band was still on your wrist.
Yeah, the band is still on my wrist, but it was some twisty thing. So somebody must have kicked it during the swim and knocked it off. So
so that
yeah. So the $800 signing fee, the multi-$1,000 airplane ticket, hotel. So just add another $500 to the list. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, what's a couple hundred more?
They say triathlon's only expensive when you buy the bike.
Yeah, that's what they say.
And then it's not expensive anymore.
That's
wrong.
That's what they say.
They say running's not an expensive sport. Yeah, tell that to my shoe collection.
Right. Yeah. That set me back a little bit because my whole bike race is set on a certain effort at a certain heart rate, and don't go over X heart rate and don't go over X power output. You can race on perceived exertion, but it's still only perceived, and your perception is always less than what it really is. I think it's just a self-preservation thing. Yeah. So I didn't have that guide to gauge my effort. So it wasn't, on the run, I didn't think it was as important, but I was really bummed out about not having it for the bike.
I don't blame you.
So, question?
Yes. There was a friend from Merrimack in the same race as you, or maybe Nashua, New Hampshire.
Really?
Yes. No. So, a gentleman from Bedford, Mass.
And
actually.
I know at one point when you were running next to him, you're like,
Yeah. So on the run, Nate Thomas is a very talented athlete. So at one point on the run, I think it was on the second or the third lap of the run, he runs by me, and it's the first time I was able to ask someone, I say, "Hey, what pace are we running?" And he's like, 7:30, and I'm like, "Okay, I better slow down. I'm not going to be able to sustain that." So
that's impressive. That is very impressive.
What was it like? We're skipping around. I apologize, but what was it like in the thunderstorm?
It was like Thor showed up for the race. It was awesome. So the lightning and the thunder were maybe a few miles away, but the rain was coming down and it was cold. So I had a vest on to try and warm up a little bit because I was borderline hypothermic from the swim.
No.
Because you come out of the swim, you're all wet, and then you get on the bike and it's freezing cold, and you've got this 20, 25, 30 mile an hour wind on you, and you're not warming up. Becomes a, mind over matter thing. And I was sort of letting it get to me. But, after the first 35 miles, the sun came out for a little bit, and then we had another shower, but the course was wet the whole time. So your legs are wet and your shoes are wet and your feet are cold. Mm-hmm. And, when you look at the video that my buddy took me on coming into T2 off the bike, I'm running like I'm freezing cold and my feet are like blocks.
Right.
But coming off the bike, again, I was in second position. For the longest time, my buddy was had said that he thought actually I was in first, but some guy's chip wasn't working, and he comes into transition, and he's like 45 minutes ahead of me. So it's another one of these guys who's the 1%er of the 1%er.
Right.
So I'm racing for hopefully second at this point, because top two spots go to Kona. So I head on the run, and it's a 3-loop run. So the first lap is pretty decent. Come back into at the end of the second lap, and my buddy is feeding me the information. He says, "You're fourth." At fourth. So I go through a feeding station, and there's this downhill which hurts your quads, and I'm like, what's the point? So I just start walking. Mm-hmm. So I walk down that hill, and I walk across. There's these cobblestones that along the waterfront that we have to go on. I walk the cobblestones, and my buddy's on the other end just before this hill, and he's cheering me on. He says, "No walking. There's no walking. Come on, you got to run. He's just ahead of me." So that's sort of the pickup I needed.
There's no walking in
right. So,
Ironman. Let's go.
So I'm running, and the guy who was in second was like 25 minutes ahead, and the guy who was first was like an hour ahead. And anything can happen in Ironman. And sure enough, the guy who was second just died. He just died. All of a sudden, instead of doing 7-minute miles, he's doing like 14-minute miles.
Oh, wow.
So I'm in second. And we go for the third lap, and my friend Awood is pointing at this guy in front of me and saying, "He's the guy in front of you. He's the guy in front of you. You got to pass him. You got to pass him." So I put in an effort, and I pass him, and he catches up to me at one point and passes me again. So we do the turnaround, and I put in another effort, and I drop him. And so we running, and then at one point we take a left. So when we take the left, I peek behind, and I can't see him. And at that point, there's probably 3 miles left, and I'm thinking, I got him. Mm-hmm. So we come back, and we're at that point we're a mile from the finish, and the race director said, "This is an honest race. Mm-hmm. It's 26.2. So when you come down to the finish line, we have an extra 0.4 mile loop that you need to do."
Oh, no way.
To hit the
actual race
the 26.2 mile distance. And I hadn't reconned that part. Everything else I had reconned, but I hadn't. So we're back down to the front part of the cobblestones, and instead of turning left to go to the finish line, we take a right. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking we're just going to run along the shore, and then we're going to loop back. But all of a sudden we start going up this 18% grade thing for 100 yards, which is just,
that is the cruelest thing I can think of.
Exactly. I was like, what? So, so I struggle up this 100 yard, 18% hill climb. We get to the top of it. We just do a little loop to come back down. And just when I get to the top, I see this guy who I had passed running as fast as he could.
Oh, no.
Sprinting up around the turn, passing me, and then just booking it down as fast as he could on the downhill, and my legs just would not allow it.
Mm-hmm. That's cruelty right there.
Right. So
that is so cruel.
I got to the finish line. He was just ahead of me. He crossed the line. Mm-hmm. He turned around and he waited for me, and I felt really good when I crossed the line. And it was, I finished this one in 10 hours and 43 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And this was a very difficult course, it sounds.
It was hard. Whether the watch helped me, not having it help me or not, I don't know. I think it hurt me on the bike, as I said, and I finished 122 seconds behind the guy. So just 2 minutes behind the guy. And I crossed the line, and he's hugging this woman, and it's his wife. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I was watching you the whole time. I was telling him that you were catching up to him, that he had to run as hard as he could." So
wow. So
for some people, the Sherpa can help.
I mean, yeah, that guy. Wow, where he found that energy, I have no idea. That's insane.
It was unbelievable. So, the award ceremony is the next day, and I got a real podium this time. I was third.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, and
one spot better.
Getting there.
And he goes, and so I'm on the podium, and I know he's gonna take the slot, and then everybody gets their medals, and then they have the roll down ceremony. So they call it, age, hey, 55 to 59, Tommy, I forget what his last name was. Do you want the slot? Yeah, he goes down, and then they call this guy's name, and he goes down, and there's a big silence while he's up there, and I yell out from the set, "Are you sure?" So they thought that was pretty funny.
From what I read, Nate Thomas, right?
Yeah, and Nate,
he wrote a recap and said it was quite the reaction.
Yeah, people got a good laugh out of it. Nate finished sixth in his age group, but he got a roll down. There were 5 slots, but he got a roll down. So he went to Kona that year. Again,
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Again, I posted the picture on my Instagram with the famous Kona, no Kona.
Road to
Kona. So, but I felt really good. I extended the trip another 3 days after the race to enjoy the area. We spent one day in a town with my buddy and his son, and the next day I'm like, okay, I'm in Norway. I want to go visit this place, and I wanted to go to Prioskalen Rock. So, are you a Mission Impossible fan? No, neither one of you.
Although I did visit Vienna, and I got to see the museum where he does the famous drop down thing from the ceiling.
Okay, so
that's about it.
In the last Mission Impossible, there's a helicopter crash scene, and there's a fight scene between him and the guy who plays Superman, and it was filmed there.
That's the.
Yeah. So
I don't know if you obviously can't see me, but the Henry Cavill, that's the name, right? Oh, okay.
Right. So that's where it was filmed. So I'm like, I want to go there, and it's famous. It's on a fjord. It's 1,000 feet over the water.
How cool.
But it's a 2.5 hour hike to get to it. So
you had to hike after,
and they said, it's not a hard hike.
Well, it is after.
But what? I read about lots of people going to take hikes after, going and, flushing out the legs, and it's good. So I do the hike on the way up, and my legs are tired, but I can manage it. The way back was just excruciating pain.
I give you some kudos for even attempting that.
And the next morning I wake up, and my right knee is 3 times the size of my left.
Oh no. What happened?
And I'm limping.
Like a tendinitis thing or like what? Whoa.
Just overuse injury.
Oh no.
So I get home, I was, it was June. I was like planning on doing Mont Tremblant with him. He had signed up for Mont Tremblant. I'm like, okay, I didn't qualify. I'm going to do Mont Tremblant. And
you were going to compromise.
I was I'm so close, So I let 3 weeks go by just thinking, okay, just on the hike, it got swollen. 3 weeks goes by, doesn't get better. Finally, I decide to make an appointment with the orthopedic surgeon. It takes a week to get the appointment, and I went. So I wasted 5 weeks for that, and sure enough, he drains it, pulls out tons of fluid. I have to go do for rehab, knee strengthening. That messed up the summer. I was able, not much swimming because it can't push off the wall.
Oh yeah.
I was able to bike, but not hard. And finally,
low impact stuff for you.
Right. Finally, no running. So finally September comes in and it's getting too late in the season. So then I decide to pack it in for the season. So I'd done one in June, and I'm like, okay, it's pushed back to 2019. So in October.
Well, I was really hoping we were going back to Cozumel.
He was pushing for Cozumel. And I was like, yeah, that's right. And I said, I don't think I can be ready. I don't think I can be ready. No. And I was
really wanted to go.
What
right.
month is Cozumel?
November.
That's
Right.
Oh, okay,
Basically
okay.
Thanksgiving.
Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right. I missed that. Yep.
Yeah. And he was pushing. I was like, right. That's right. And I was like, but I'm not just going. I'm not going just to run. All right. I know I can finish it, but that's not what I'm trying to do.
There's a reason though. My reason was if you go, you don't know who shows up. If you go and you can qualify in November, now you got 11 months you to prepare. You're in. You're ready to go.
Right.
Like my thought was, hey, go do Cozumel. You don't know who's going to show up. You qualify, great. You don't qualify, we do one again in March, April.
Right. So
Which you ended up signing up for one in the spring.
So he lost the argument.
And lose the argument. You just pussied out.
And then, I think it was in October, I signed up for Ironman Texas in April of 2019.
It was a big moment too, because you did that on the clock at work
With you right there.
with me right there, and with both your girls on the phone,
Right.
FaceTiming them, and we're like, do it, and you're like, I'm gonna do it.
That's like me. I'm a pusher.
Right. Because April is tough. Because that means you got to train in the winter in New England.
That's why I do not like spring races, because it's an entire I'm a fair weather runner, and I can't, I wouldn't even want to get outside on a bike with snowbanks, and no way. Treadmill it is.
Yeah. So
It's not happening.
and I hate the treadmill.
Yeah. It is hard to get the same kind of training on a treadmill. Even like a stationary bike, you can't do quite the same stuff.
Yeah. And, winter's tough. Winter's tough here. But remember, my girlfriend lives in Montreal. And the winter's even worse up there. Right. So,
And you had a life event happen to you where now you were kind of required to go to Canada a lot more because you had a lot more free time.
Not yet. That was October.
Okay.
So, I decide I'm going to start training after Thanksgiving. It's a good date. December 1st. So, and then December 8th, I became a full-time triathlete. Didn't have to bother going to work anymore. They saw fit that I didn't need to go to work anymore.
Oh, so that was out of your control.
So that was
oh no.
So that was out of my control.
Yeah.
So that was December. So I went through a little bit of mental struggle there.
Right.
But started the training in December. January, February, start building up. The form is coming along. I can look at my form curve, and then end of February, something happened in the world. February 2019.
Something real big.
February.
Still going on a little bit.
And on March 12th, the whole entire world really shut down.
And then on March 12th, the world shut down, and they started talking about, well, are we going to be able to hold races?
Mm-hmm.
And Ironman became notorious for dragging their feet on how races were being canceled.
Okay.
So Ironman Texas was April 26th.
Oh, that was the day I was supposed to run London. So my London got canceled.
Right.
Oh, that's why you wanted to go to London and you couldn't because you're like, oh, I'm going to Texas, which is weird.
I know.
So
Yep.
So I think 4 weeks, I think it was, before Texas.
Wow, that's giving you no time for like cancellations.
Right. They announce that it's being canceled. Ironman gave no refunds to anybody ever,
But they did do the deferrals?
but they would offer deferrals.
That's good. I would feel more comfortable with that. At
Right.
least.
But a lot of people weren't happy with that. And then again, the way they were doing it, they would literally wait until the last moment. So, people had airplane tickets booked and Airbnbs booked. And some things you can cancel, some things you can't. But so 4 weeks before they cancel it, and then they announce that, you can either defer to next year or you can go to Ironman Florida in November, and they also offered Ironman Maryland in September. So at that time, everybody thought this was going to be pretty short-lived. I signed up for Ironman Maryland in September. My form, literally 4 weeks before, it was like 1 week after that, you start to taper.
Yeah.
So you shut it down for a couple of weeks. You start building up again, because you have whatever it is, 16 weeks until beginning of September. Then things start to look really bleak. And my brain kept on telling me that things are going to get canceled and there's no reason to prepare. But there was, I guess, hope. And, come like second week of August, just when you're starting to build up, they announce that this one is being shut down again. And we'll offer you a deferral to Ironman Maryland next year or Ironman Coeur d'Alene in June. They didn't even offer me the Ironman Texas again. It was just crazy. So I signed up for Ironman Coeur d'Alene on whatever it was, June 29th, 2021.
Correct. Yes. This past June. We're coming up on a year.
Right. Was it? Wait, but what year? This is 2022.
Well,
right. So 2021. Yeah. I don't work anymore. So
Dates don't matter.
Dates, days, every day's the same for me. So, but then it became shutting it down again.
Wow.
And it's exhausting. You keep on pushing yourself and you don't know. And I'm complaining about my little world. It's pretty insignificant, but that's the impact it had on me to ramp up, ramp down, ramp up, ramp down. So
see, I did a whole bunch of virtual races, but you can't really do a virtual Ironman. What's the fun in that?
They were having some virtual.
Oh, really?
They were having some virtual races because Ironman is a for-profit company. And they were hemorrhaging money.
Oh, so they needed to do something to stay afloat. It makes sense. I feel like a lot of companies were doing that kind of stuff. Yeah.
They needed to do something.
Wow. I can't imagine doing one of those by yourself, though. Like, there's no competition to keep you going. Like, there's no crowds to keep you going. Like, you didn't do a virtual one, did you? No?
No.
Okay.
But,
I'd be curious to hear from somebody who did.
Triathletes are pretty, I'd say, overall, it teaches you focus, commitment, dedication,
discipline.
Discipline. So, if you spend 5 hours on the indoor trainer, doing a bike ride, or
That's
6
so
hours,
much. Yeah.
Imagine riding your Peloton for 6 hours.
My butt would fall off.
See?
Pretty sure.
That's why I have a 55-inch TV.
That's very nice. Yes.
You know,
That's why you got 2 TVs. And look at this, right behind your head, he's got surround sound speakers
Oh, very
too. He's got the massive fan. You got
So
surround
you
sound
could at
speakers in the
least
front.
watch like a Marvel movie marathon behind, like while you're riding the bike. I have just a tiny little TV that
I'm
I
gonna
could
take
swivel.
taking a picture of this for everybody.
It's very nice.
I can't tell you how many times I have watched Infinity Wars and Endgame back to back while I'm doing a 5 or 6 hour bike ride on my trainer.
How do you keep track when you're doing that? You're watching a movie of like, say you got a 10-minute segment of zone 4. Like, how do you keep track of like not going over or remembering to start zone 4 at the right time?
Zwift, I pre-program it.
Do you know what Zwift is?
It's a bike thing.
Virtual biking, I would call
That's
it.
about all I know.
Yeah. So when I do intervals, a lot of the time I'll use the erg mode so that the bike computer controls the power output for me. So
Oh, cool.
so I'm not going higher, but I'm not going lower. So if you put 300 watts, you got to put up keep pedaling to hit the 300 watts, because the slower you pedal, the resistance increases, and then it just.
So it's kind of like power
kills
zone
you.
training.
He's got the Wahoo kicker that I had before I bought a Peloton like you. So when you got me into the Power Zone pack 2 years ago or a year ago,
Yeah.
and I had my smart trainer.
That's how you were doing it. Yeah.
He's got the same thing.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So
Getting the work done. Yeah.
right. So just like everybody else's life, mine was on hold.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your girlfriend again. She's in another country.
Oh, you want to hear that part?
Yeah. Go for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. How about having a girlfriend on another country and you can't see her for 9 months because you can't cross the border?
That's crazy.
Right. So, it was a week to week thing or a month to month thing when they closed the border. They kept on saying, well, the border's closed until April 28th.
Mm-hmm.
And then a week before April 28th said, well, it's still going to be closed.
Just kidding.
It's going to be closed until May 28th. And then it kept on getting pushed on. So
Didn't you write a letter like to the Canadian government?
So there's this guy who started a group on Facebook for family exemptions because there are families that were separated. Parents with kids on the other side of the border, you just couldn't go back home to go see their parents.
Wow.
Or people dying, you can't go see your dying mother. So this guy, he started a lobbying group, and that's where that letter thing came in. So that gave hope. Came like September, right? But it was literally a month to month thing. If someone had told me ahead of time, you're not going to be able to see your girlfriend for 9 months. At that point, maybe you pack it in. You're like, this is not going to be worth it. But it was certainly easier on me. It was very, very difficult on her. She's self-employed and had to shut down her business. So she had that additional pressure. But yeah, I wasn't able to see. It was only 9 months later when this lobbying group got the Canadian government to create this special exemption thing for not only family, but for loved ones. So I had to apply for the special exemption. And before I went to Canada, I had to get tests. But the worst part is that when I'd get to Canada, I'd have to do a 14-day quarantine.
Oh, man.
So,
And they track you.
oh yeah,
They
would call. They would call to make sure I was there. Following the quarantine.
Was it just in a hotel or something, or were you quarantining with her?
I actually quarantined at her house, which was sort of bending the rules because you're supposed to be in a separate room, not seeing anybody.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't exactly what happened.
Yeah.
We only have 2 Canadian listeners or followers. They won't rat you out.
Right.
Yeah.
So after, because I came back home in February of 2019 for my birthday, after my birthday to see my kids. And then I wasn't able to go back
Wow.
finally until December. It was December.
That's insane.
So at that point, I had already signed up for Coeur d'Alene. So I get to her place in December, and I have to quarantine for 14 days. So I have my indoor trainer, but I can't go to the pool and I can't run. And so I stayed there for, I think it was 10 weeks. I stayed there. January in Montreal, I was training outside. It was just freaking miserable.
Yeah.
But, I was committed to it. So I would be out, it'd be negative 20, and I'd be running.
I'm cringing.
Oh yeah. There were some really, really cold days. But then I had to come back. I came back after my birthday because I had to get my tax shit together.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I wouldn't have even thought of that.
So I come back. I'm here for like 4 or 5 weeks. And she's like, well, you got to come back. So I go back.
Same deal.
Another 14-day quarantine.
God,
okay.
That's awful.
So, and I'm like, okay. Then, like, hey, it's not my fault, but my daughter's getting married. So Camille was getting married May 23rd. So I had to come back beginning of May for her wedding to help get prepared. And so that's May 23rd. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming back. I'm coming back for Camille's wedding, May 23rd. I'm going to Idaho, June 26th. I can't come back here and do another 14-day quarantine.
That's just so much time wasted.
Because
unfortunately.
I can't train. So after I came back for Camille's wedding in the beginning of May, I didn't go back there until the end of July.
Oh, wow.
Because to add further to the story, like Eric said, she's a big worrier. Not only did I have to quarantine when I got there, she would want me to pre-quarantine here, not see anybody for at least 10 days.
Oh, wow.
Because she didn't want to get vaccinated, so she's so fearful of catching the damn thing. So that's the kind of things that you do for people. So
It's great she doesn't understand us.
no, she's not going to listen to your stupid podcast.
I'm going to edit that out.
I think you should leave it in.
Right.
It's even funnier.
So so June is coming up, and I am in the best shape that I've ever been in, by far. It could very well have been all those 14-day quarantines because I was so bored.
What else are you going to do? Just work out.
I was doing 2-3 hour bike rides every day.
Every day?
Every day. All right.
How? Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, 5 days, five out of 6 days, and then on the weekend I do a long bike
That doesn't
ride.
even matter. You're doing 2-a-days. Like that's tough to do
right.
anyways.
So I was doing 20-hour bike weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. I was.
That's a part-time job. It literally is a part-time job.
Yeah. So,
You were Kona ready.
dude, I was Kona ready. I was ready for it. And I was.
So what happened? Did the race
I
happen?
was 100% sure that I was going to Kona. All right. Because on top of it, because of the pandemic and the paucity of races, Ironman had all these slots that they needed to fill. So they started adding available slots to the races.
Oh, so you were like, I'm a shoo-in. Like, so at what point, like, you could have finished 5th again and you still would have gotten a spot, or is that stretching it? Oh,
Oh yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah. So
So you're like, all right, wash my hands of this.
Right. So going into Coeur d'Alene, I knew if I finished, I pretty much knew that I would be, I'd be qualifying.
That is a chef's kiss.
Okay. Right. Okay.
There's a but.
But.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. All right.
All right.
Go for it.
So you heard earlier the argument. It's like, did you drive me to the airport this time? He's like, no, that wasn't me. That was your daughter. Okay. So for Coeur d'Alene, Eric says, hey, I'll drive you to the airport in the morning. And I'm thinking, and I'm like, my flight's at 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, I don't want to get up at 2:00 in the morning and have Eric drive me. So I'm talking it over with him, and I'm like, you know what?
I think I talked you into it.
Or you talked me
Yeah,
into it.
because I kind of got the blame for this after.
Right.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, I'm just going to go sleep at the airport. Okay. So
Hotel, airport hotel.
yeah. So
Okay, that makes
So-
more sense. I'm like, no way, you're just sleeping at the
right.
airport.
So I book a room at the hotel at the Hilton, right at the airport.
You just walk. You don't even go outside. You just walk right into the airport.
Really?
Oh,
This
yeah.
is Logan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, right. I mean, it could have been Manchester, of course.
Well,
So-
there's no. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know it's not
So-
that close, but I figured. Okay.
So Eric, drives me to the airport, and I say goodbye to him and wishes me good luck.
Again, another race I can't go to just because of the timing of the year.
All right, wait. He helps me bring my stuff up into my room, and I walk him back down. Everybody's wearing masks because it's full COVID.
Yep.
I say goodbye, takes off, and I have the worst night. I just couldn't sleep, felt off,
Oh no.
just not right.
Oh no.
All right. So,
No.
so, I carefully planned this trip, and like, it's a long trip to get to Idaho. There are no direct flights. I'm like, I didn't book what Southwest recommended. I'm like, I'm going to leave early. I'm going to land in Colorado, in Denver. I'm going to go to a gym. I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to go for a bike ride in the gym. It'll be great. I'll break up the trip. On top of that, it's 6,000 feet. It's going to be awesome. I just want to see what it's like. It'll be great. So I get to Denver, hop on the train, take a Uber, get to a Planet Fitness. Just wanted to do an easy 1 hour Zone 1 ride. And it was the hardest Zone 1 ride I've ever had. I was so hot, sweating, and I put it off on the altitude, mile high. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to go for a run.
No.
So hop on the flight to Idaho, get to Coeur d'Alene, try and sleep that night. Felt like total crap again. Woke up the next morning, and I'm like, I got to go to the hospital.
It was that bad?
It was that bad.
Oh no.
It was that bad. My throat felt like you couldn't even put a straw through it. So I go to the walk-in emergency center. And strangely enough, they didn't test me for COVID, but the doctor said that you have bronchitis.
Oh.
I'm like, how long does it take to get over bronchitis? He goes, well, it depends, And so I have a race this weekend. I'm here for the Ironman race. He's like, well, just see how you feel on Saturday. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm like, I got to go do my swim. Bad idea. So I think I swam 20 minutes and I couldn't breathe.
Oh no.
So that's Wednesday. Thursday, don't do anything at all. Okay. Friday, I go out for a small run, and it's just like impossible. So at that point, I'm thinking like, it's not going to happen. My brother comes in, they drive from Oregon, and I'm telling you that I'm sick, and they're like, oh no. And,
my reaction.
right.
Like, no.
So Saturday, I'm feeling a little bit better. All right, a little bit better. So I go out and try and do some 20 second sprints to activate the legs, get things moving a little bit. And I just felt like crap. All right, so I start the race on Sunday, and I have bronchitis.
Wow.
And although all that medication does stuff to stomach too. So,
This is just not turning out the way you had wanted.
Right.
Not at all.
So
Kona was a shoo-in.
on top of it, on
Right.
top of it, okay, for the week before the race, they're saying it's going to be hot in Coeur d'Alene. It's going to be hot.
What else are they going to throw at you, Scott? What else?
Turns out on race day it was 104.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, it was
hell?
104.
So 104 degrees.
This-
You have bronchitis.
This race had the highest percentage dropout race of any Ironman race before. I think it was like
God. Even over Cozumel. and stuff.
28%
Wow.
dropout. It was. I'll get back to the heat, but yeah, it was hot. So I get to the start line. I get in the water.
Mm-hmm.
The water was another one of an Australian swim. So you do a loop, run out onto the beach, and then do the loop again.
Okay.
Like the first lap, I couldn't breathe, in the water. And halfway through the second loop, I'm like, my stomach is like, hey, buddy.
Oh, no.
Remember me?
Do I?
Remember me?
How can I forget?
And I'm like, I can't go in the wetsuit because if I do, I have to stop the race because I don't have another dry suit to change into.
Mm-hmm.
So I get out of the water and I sprint to the porta potty, just barely make it.
Mm-hmm.
Just barely make it. And it wasn't a fast transition either.
Mm-hmm.
So I get out of transition onto the bike, and it's time to get to work. By now everybody kind of knows my the way I operate is I'm behind in the swim and catch up on the bike and then hold on the run. And Coeur d'Alene is a hard bike. There's a couple of really long climbs. I think it's like 6,000 or 7,000 feet of
Oh my gosh.
of climbing. It's a hard race,
But you get the reward, like we spoke about earlier.
but you get some nice downhills.
Okay. Some rest.
You do get some rest. And I've my very first Ironman, I pedaled as hard as I could down the hills.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've learned a little bit, save the legs, maybe coast down the hills and just pedal a little bit once in a while to keep the speed up. But, once I hit like maybe 30 miles an hour, it takes a lot of effort to go faster. So you just save the energy. But so I'm picking people off left and right on the bike ride. I'm feeling really good on the first loop. There's on the biggest downhill section, there's a no pass zone because it's dangerous and you're right up against cars on the highway.
Oh.
Yeah. Not the safest place. And they did have a couple of accidents there with some people getting hurt pretty bad. But, I finished the second loop, and then I'm one of amongst the first people.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the first loop, it's starting to get hot. And you turn around, go back through town, and then you have to go through the hills again. And you go over this valley at one point.
Mm-hmm.
The wind is blowing up the valley, and it's like a blast furnace. It was just so hot. I could feel the moisture out of my sucked right out of my lips.
God.
Right? But I had learned from Cozumel that you really have to overhydrate and take more salt.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm feeling pretty good. So I finished the bike, and coming off the bike, I'm in third place again. But by then it's 104 degrees.
That's rough. That is so rough.
And that's the air temperature. The road is probably...
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
It's just radiating off the road. It was just brutal. I can't even describe it. I was listening to people talking about it today on TV, comparing Saturday's race to what it was going to be like in Coeur d'Alene. And it was just, he said, it was like it was 1,000,000 degrees.
May as well have been, right?
It was just so hot. So there was a lot of support on the course for the run, a lot of water stations, and then people out there with hoses.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I ran the whole race completely soaked because every station, front and back, in the shoes, spraying as much as you can. Mm-hmm. But it was so hot that you would dry up in between the stations. It was insane. So this was a 3-loop, and again, up until like mile 20 went fine. And then the heat, I mean, everybody was the same. Okay. Mm-hmm. Just people dropping out, sitting on the side of the road in the shade, ambulances picking people up. It was just crazy. And I hadn't walked until mile 20, and then I started walking. Mm-hmm. I did skip the point, which was the highlight of my race, when I caught, passed, and dropped the number 1 rated pro who was walking at the time.
Oh,
drop the name.
When I caught, passed, and dropped Lionel Sanders on the run. Yeah,
Lionel.
He had a hard day.
Was his buddy there?
Talbot was there.
Yeah. Did he get it on video? Did he get you dropping him?
No, he did get me dropping him, but Talbot was there. Yeah.
He's a big Talbot Cox fan. Mm-hmm. And Talbot was at Cozumel when we were at Cozumel. He was at Ironman Mont Tremblant when we were there the second time. And I met him and got a picture. And, he sent you a little good luck video too there.
Yeah, they're all big time now. They wouldn't talk to you anymore.
He was an up and coming at the time.
Sorry, I love that.
Guess what?
Even as a fellow podcaster, he wouldn't talk to you.
Hey,
they won't talk to you anymore.
I'm on the rise.
You're on the rise.
I'm on the rise.
Yeah,
we're gonna be big time.
We'll be the next Bob Babbitt. Breakfast with E&E. Breakfast with Eric.
E squared.
Yeah.
E squared.
Yeah. So, but I was still holding in like 3rd or 4th position until like mile 23, where I literally walked for like a mile. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was tough and dark, but I knew that as long as I finished,
there you go.
I was going.
That's nice. Having that in the back of your mind, that's always like, all right, this isn't for nothing.
I was so baked when I came down the finish chute again. Mm-hmm. That poor Georgie and Spencer is still there on the side.
Niece and nephew.
Looking for their high fives. Uncle Scott. And I just wanted to cross that finish line so bad because it was just so brutally hot. And you cross the finish line. Okay, I'm an Ironman again, but there was no massage.
Really?
Because of COVID.
COVID just ruins everything.
Yeah. So.
How rude.
But, how bad the bronchitis affected me, you don't know. But, I crossed the line in 6th. So I was quite disappointed because I was off the podium for the first time.
Yeah.
But, the next day, the award ceremony, so I didn't get to go up, but then they have the roll down, and the first guy had already qualified, so he didn't take his spot. And the second guy took his spot. Third guy didn't want it. The fourth guy didn't want it.
No way.
The fifth guy took it, and all I needed was that one extra spot at 6.
Oh my gosh.
So, Mike Raleigh, okay, Scott Black, number 6. So you want your spot? I'm like, I stood up and I was like, yes, I'm going to Kona, baby.
Yes.
And he's like, have you ever been there? And I'm like, no. He's like, don't worry. There are no hills and it's not hot. Yeah. So.
Is that a total lie? That's got to be a total lie.
Yeah. So, when I told you that they allocated extra slots, I could have finished, if everybody had taken their spot in a row, I could have finished 15th or 16th. And
no way.
I think there were 14 slots that were allocated. So
Well, you did fantastically and still made it.
right.
So
So
good for you.
so I qualified. Qualified for Kona. I'm going to Kona, baby. Okay.
Yes.
Eric.
We are going to Kona.
I'm like, Eric, are you coming? He's like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm like, okay.
no. You called me
Yeah.
and you said, you didn't ask me if I'm going. You said, you're coming.
Oh, I said you're coming.
Oh, you don't get a choice.
You
You
said,
are going.
I am taking you. And I go,
Well, pull my leg.
I owe it to him. So,
That was well earned.
so that was June. I get back. What do? I book flights. I find an Airbnb. I decide that I'm going to go and I'm going to do a camp before I book.
tell her what a camp is.
Oh, it's just where you go and train before your race.
Oh,
In Hawaii at the event.
Yeah.
Well,
So I decide I'm going to go to Maui. I said I'm going to go to Maui 2 weeks before, get used to the heat, and then I'll go to Kona. So I'm qualified. October 6th, Ironman World Championships in Kona. Yay, I'm going. Okay. Start training or keep on training. Don't lose form.
icing on the cake.
August 15th, rumors start. Yeah, we're not really sure.
oh, come on.
We're not really sure if we're going to be able to have the World Championships in Kona this year. We'll get back to you. So, like 3 days later, Ironman Kona canceled.
I've had enough of you, Iron Man.
Okay.
I haven't even
Iron
done
Man.
one.
I think it's just COVID we've had enough of.
Well, yeah, but they keep canceling shit. So.
Yeah. So everywhere else in the world, but Hawaii is a small island, small hospitals.
They
were already filled with people who are sick, and if you have 10,000 people who fly in, that's one thing, and they know that after every race they get whatever it is, 300 people in the ER.
Yeah.
It was
That
the
does add up.
location.
They can't
It
handle
was
it.
more the location that they couldn't handle it logistically and everything versus
No, it's the hospital issue.
yeah, but versus if it was in, they could have still done it if it was in a
Well,
venue that could handle it.
You're jumping. You're jumping.
yeah, yeah.
Wait.
Were they going to move it?
So they say, we're not sure what we're going to do. Sit tight.
Okay.
So like a week later, we get an email saying, okay, Ironman World Championships is pushed back until February, and it's going to be held in St. George, Utah. I didn't want,
No.
okay? I never trained to go and qualify for Ironman World Championships in St. George,
That's completely different.
and I'm not the only one. So uproar, people complaining left and right.
Yeah.
And Ironman said, we're still working on the logistics of this. We're not really sure. We'll get back to you. And then black hole for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Wow.
Nothing. And then they come back and they announce that because of the uncertainties of COVID, there will be no World Championships this year. That the 2021 World Championship is going to be in St. George, May 7th, which is in 2 days. and that the 2022 will be held in Kona, and it will become a 2-day event.
Oh.
Where the men would race on the Saturday and the women would race on the Thursday.
Okay.
And they're going to double up the field because remember earlier they could only do 2,500 bikes.
Oh, but now if they break it in half, they can have double.
They
the
could
people.
do 5,000.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Like we said, they're a profit company.
Right.
They need to make up for their losses.
So they say, and you say, so then they offer, okay, you can either choose St. George, or that came like another month later. It was just crazy. Just left people hanging. It was like, you can either choose St. George or Kona.
Okay.
So I chose Kona.
Yeah.
All right.
That was the ultimate goal that you wanted this whole time.
That was the goal.
Why would you settle for anything less?
That Kona is Ironman's, unique selling proposition.
Yeah.
That's what, maybe not the pros, though, there is a lot of history there. Mm-hmm. But for age groupers, the drive is getting to Kona and to be able to race on the Queen K Highway, where you see the pros racing when you watch the race on TV, after Thanksgiving, and when ABC shows their special, and you've seen, this for the last 40 years. So I'll be going. I'm a little bit disappointed because not only are the women racing on Thursday, but they also added all the men over 55. So present and accounted for.
Really?
So I'll be racing on the Thursday with the professional women, who are way better than I will
and the age group women
ever
or
be.
just the pro women?
Yeah, and the age
all the
group
women.
women.
Okay.
Okay. On top of it, the advanced age group that I'll be racing in were like one of the last ones to be sent off on that day.
Oh.
With like a 30-minute gap to so I think
Really?
it's going to be a long, lonely day out there. But it is what it is. It's what I've been trying to get for the last 5 years. It's finally nice when you achieve your goal. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what I'll do after.
Try to qualify again and get the actual Kona experience.
It very well could be. Mm-hmm. Back in March, I did the second half Ironman I've ever done. I actually won my age group.
Oh, fantastic!
And my knees were like, "Hey, buddy, how about if we only do 70.3s from now on?"
Well, hey, if you can dominate a 70.3 in your age group, I mean,
and
that's something to keep you busy.
70.3 does have a world championships, and the cool thing is,
where's that?
It changes every year.
It changes every year.
Okay.
So there were a lot more 70.3s than there are fulls.
Yeah.
You can also do, your body can also do a lot more 73s than it can do fulls. Mm-hmm. This thing is it's become an obsession, all consuming, really put a lot of the rest of my life on hold. It's like, hey, do you want to come over and we can go sailing in Greece for 3 months? Nah, sorry, I can't do it. I gotta train for Ironman. Mm-hmm. So, there probably other things that I want to do, but it's a hard habit to break. It would be like giving up running.
I totally agree with you.
So do what keep on doing what you like, if that's what you like, and that's what makes you happy, and that it really is what makes me happy. Mm-hmm. So we'll see, but I'm in the middle of my build up for Kona. I've only been doing low aerobic efforts for the last 4 or 5 months to build a solid base. Mm-hmm. Just did some high aerobic stuff for a week before my 70.3. That worked out good. It's going to be a long summer.
Erica, he spent the entire winter in Florida training.
Glad you got out of here.
Bought a camper, went to Florida, trained all year, all winter in Florida.
That doesn't suck.
No, it didn't suck. I really missed the outdoor swimming pools. That was really nice.
Yeah.
But even more than when I'm here, that is literally all I had to do. I was like living the life of a pro triathlete living out of a camper.
And
16, 18, 19-hour weeks in January and February, which is just...
You don't get that around here. You just can't.
Which is just insane. It was way too much. I've cut it back to start at a lower effort, but it was, in March, I was amazing shape, amazing.
Well, his 70.3 victory, I played a crucial role. Mm-hmm. I flew down to Florida, as you remember.
Oh, yeah.
A couple days before, get a phone call. Hey, when are you going to be in Florida? Oh, could you pick some stuff up for me?
That's right. That's right. I had planned on doing this race. So I called Eric and was like, okay, can you bring me my race suit and my helmet? What was the third thing?
A lot of nutrition.
Oh, and my nutrition. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And my nutrition.
So what you actually did was Camille came to your house and got it.
Yeah.
I went to her house, picked it up, I brought it to work, and I shipped it to my hotel.
At company expense.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nashua, New Hampshire.
They're moving, so I'm good.
Is that what
and when this episode comes out, I will no longer be at that location. Or for that team or any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that race down in Homestead, Florida was that was a solid race. I dominated that thing, you know.
But it wasn't an Ironman race, so you don't qualify.
No, it wasn't red
an
dot,
Ironman
you know?
brand.
Oh,
Yeah, that's okay. It's too bad. So
still awesome though.
now I just have to decide whether I do another short one between now and Hawaii. It might be a good thing to do. I just have to find a close enough race to go to.
And after Kona, I think your chances of qualifying might get a little easier. You are in a new age bracket, and you are the baby in the age bracket.
We'll say it. I have no shame. I qualified in the 55 to 59 age group, and now I'm racing in the 60 to 64 age group.
So 5 years ago,
and people go,
I can't wait for new age groups.
you're 60?
I literally can't wait for a new age group because that means like it's 5 extra minutes I would get if I wanted to qualify for Boston. And so that 5 minutes, that makes a difference.
Interestingly enough, my oldest daughter is saying, "Come on, Dad, you sure you don't want to do Boston?"
You should if you have the capabilities.
I'm like,
at least once.
I'm like,
could you qualify on time?
I don't know. And I'm like, she's like, "Do you know what the qualifying time is in your age group?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Look, it's 3 hours and 45 minutes. I do that after riding my bike."
I'm so jealous of you. That would
You stink.
A 3:45 would get me into Chicago. I need a 3:35 to get into Boston.
You know what it is for me in
And
my
that's
age
hard.
group? I'm the same age group as you. I got to do 30 minutes faster.
Yes, you do.
3:05.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
It's rough for us, yeah.
Sorry, just wait until you get old, you know.
Hey, that's why I want to keep running while I'm...
By then, it's going to still be a 3:05. They're going to keep bumping it up.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
but,
let's
you know,
hope not.
That's the nice thing about this sport that I found. You know, if I do Boston Marathon, I'll finish like 5,000th in my age group. Okay?
That is true, yeah.
You know, there's some runners out there that are amazing. And it's just unbelievable what they can do. You know, in this age group, it's just crazy.
I think you should do it at least once, though.
But
that's two marathons you have to do because you still have to qualify and then you got to run Boston.
Yeah,
so.
but I look
do
at I look at the marathon right now, and I'm like, yeah. So yeah, marathon. I do that on training day. You know? It's a lot. It's a lot of time. It's a huge commitment, and I give Eric so much credit for what he did. With,
he's come a long way, and
a full-time job, is hockey, a 1-year-old daughter at the time, or a 2-year-old daughter.
Hockey is work, people, FYI.
A high-maintenance wife.
Oh, that's funny.
She does listen.
Yeah, I know.
Ashley, you're a saint, seriously.
She doesn't always make it to the end of the episode.
It still counts, right?
Well, I gotta give you
it does.
credit for like getting me back on the hamster wheel, because there was a point I hated running, and you'll remember the day, that like 95-degree day, we all went and did Signa Elliott 5K, and I said, that's my last race. I'm not running anymore, and I bought a bike. And then you were like, you got a road bike? That's sweet. Let's go for a ride. You get me out on the bike for a ride, and then eventually I signed up for a sprint triathlon. And everything I accomplished as far as like being prepared and learning everything was because of you. And you got me back running again, and you taught me how to run and enjoy it. And it's not like, oh, you taught me, we did some easy runs and some hard runs. And it's like, today we're going to do this with these intervals. And like, I just did what you said. And then all of a sudden I started feeling good and running good. You and Ashley Ashley signed me up for the triathlon, and you got me the bug. And then I started enjoying running again, where now I have a running podcast with you. Mm-hmm. So you get a lot of credit for my development.
I think the thing that one of the things that impressed me most with Eric, he's like, we should do a century. I want to ride a century. So
well, I would ask him to do runs, and he'd be like, I can't. I got a century that day. I'm like, good for you. Have fun.
This is a good story.
We go out and take a day off in October 2017, 2018, where, go do this 100-mile bike ride out to the coast. And so Eric does his century, and the longest ride he did before that was 25 miles.
Wow.
Oh, man. That day, it was like 80 degrees, and we rode from my house to Hampton Beach. Mm-hmm. And 40 miles in, I am feeling great. Just so great. Now, I packed, nutrition-wise, 1 gel pack.
Oh, yeah.
That's all you had? Are you kidding me?
1 gel pack.
Newbie over here. Yeah.
And I took that right after the beach. And right after we hit 50, I hit a wall.
I wonder why.
And I had to go 50 more miles. And from
did you stop and get stuff? Tell me he had some a gas station run or something.
We did. I'll tell you that. But we rode the way back to Manchester from the beach uphill. So that's why I felt great to the beach, because it's mostly downhill.
Yeah.
Man, there was points where, so we did stop at a gas station. You made me drink a Coke and a Gatorade.
You would have bonked
food.
Hard if it wasn't for Scott.
Well, I bonked wicked hard.
Well, you wicked would have done it harder then.
And we did 103 miles, I think.
Yeah.
Did you learn your lesson? Tell me you did.
An entire pizza within an hour. And that's kind of been our thing now, is pizza after centuries.
That's fair.
Yeah, we split a pizza.
In 2020, we got on the bike a lot. I think I rode 6 centuries that summer, 4 with you at least. And he's got this picture of me. We did one ride that was, I don't know if we made a wrong turn or something, but we ended up doing like 110 miles.
Ride to Sunapee.
Yeah,
right?
Sunapee. Oh, that's the one with the flat tire.
Oh,
Jesus.
He's got a picture of me at like 106 miles, and we got 4 miles to go. We stopped at a Cumbies, and he's got the most disgusting picture of me.
Yeah.
Eating 2 chili dogs, sitting on my ass on the sidewalk, just like toast.
Yeah. So this is really nice. I actually get to thank our guest in person. So Scott, thank you for having us in your home, for spending 4 hours talking to us about all things triathlons. I have learned so much about this. It's not, I feel like I'm mildly an expert now. Maybe what's like a step down from an expert?
You're just not a newbie anymore.
Okay, I'll take that. So I feel like I can get involved in your world a little bit more. Not committing to one yet, but I'll take it.
You are our first in-person guest.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
And it felt so much like just a regular conversation. This just flowed so much better, and I think we should try to do this more often. This is great.
We absolutely will. We'll do a lot more on locations. We'll bring some people to yours. I think we got, by the time this one's out, we'll have already talked to Rachel.
Yes.
But we've been talking about bringing you on for a long time, and I'm so happy we waited.
Yes.
Because if we did this back when we were sitting around a little table with one microphone,
this would have been a struggle.
Yeah, this would have been a big struggle. I'm really happy we waited till we were ready.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. I hope people don't find my story too boring.
And it's not over, because Kona's coming up in October.
So we're going to have a recap with you. I hope you'll share all your little details again with us.
And it's possible that On the Runs will be on location in Hawaii.
Yeah, but I think the Kona race should be like 5 shows just by itself.
Well, we'll have one for the pre-race.
We'll make it
and
happen.
One for yeah.
See, he can call me on location, and I'll be the one remote this time. So,
but it'll be fun. I think I'll be there, and it will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks again for coming on, man. You're the man. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Scott. He finally qualified for Kona. He finally gets to go to the World Championships. He's worked so hard, and it has been quite the ride to get to that point. So all that hard work has paid off, my friend. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, buddy. I'm super proud. Super proud. Thank you so much for letting us do that at your house.
couldn't
Oh, it
believe.
was so much fun talking to him.
Do you remember we were there for 5 hours?
Oh yeah.
We forgot to eat dinner.
I mean, time flies when you're having fun.
It's like at one
But
point.
we're gonna have to get him back.
At one point, you're like, it's 10 o'clock.
It was a school night. That's the only reason I said anything. If it was like a Friday, I wouldn't have cared. But
we will have him back. We'll have him back after Kona, which I have to make a decision on.
Dun dun dun.
I have not yet gotten a plane ticket.
Well, it's what? You said it was like 5 weeks away?
Yeah.
You gotta make a choice.
I put the request in for work and it's approved. I got the week off, which if I don't go to Kona, I'm just going to work or I'm going to go camping. But I don't think I'm going to go. Like, I'm so back and forth. Like, some days I'm like, I'm going. It's stupid. And Ashley has told me for the past year and a half, I can go.
Mm-hmm.
Scott has, said, Eric, you are welcome to come and he will help me get there if I need it. So basically, I got a free plane ticket to Kona if I want it.
Yeah.
And am I crazy for like even thinking about this? Like, I feel so bad leaving Ashley here with 3 kids. 2 of them are 18 months old and school drop-off, school pickups, her job.
I mean, that just shows your dedication, your family. But I know the back and forth you must be going through.
And think of all the content I could get. I could like give out on the run stickers and magnets. And maybe, well, I'm not going to say it, but this weekend I have been working on something and it has come out amazing. No, you know what it is. A lot of people are going to love this. A lot of people are going to love it. We got to figure out how to distribute them. We'll put it at that. We'll put it at that.
I know. Okay, sure.
We got to make decisions like polyester or cotton. If you're figuring out what I'm talking about.
Yeah, now it's making sense.
Yeah. Okay. Little right over your head there.
There was a couple things that were discussed, so I didn't know which one you were. We
had an extremely productive weekend. It's a long Labor Day weekend. Like, I was blowing up your phone quite a bit this weekend. The extra day off really helped me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I really got to make a decision. Like, this might be, part of me is thinking, okay, Scott's race is Thursday. Why don't I just fly in like first thing Tuesday morning, see his race Thursday, cheer him on. And then there's it's a 2-race weekend in Kona, Thursday and Saturday. Remember if you just listened, you heard all about that. But
yeah.
Like, I could fly back Friday after his race, and so I'm there for his race, but then I'm not there for the whole thing or for the big one on Saturday.
That's a lot of travel just for a couple of days.
That's fine. It's fine with me. I'm young enough. I'm only 27, so I can handle it.
Well, whatever you decide.
That flew right over your head too.
Wait, what? What flew over my head?
I'm only 27.
Oh, I wasn't listening to you. That no.
When the hosts aren't
so,
listening.
So either if you're there to hand out like stickers and stuff, you can just send them along with Scott. Otherwise,
I could do that. But I could do that. But I want to be there. Like, it's a once in a like. I mean,
I think you're talking yourself into it.
No, you know what I do every day? I'm talking myself out of it every day. I wake up in the morning. I'm gonna go to Kona, and as the day goes on, I'm like, there's no chance. There's no chance. There's no way for me to go.
You think Scott's going to go back? Maybe if he gets in and
I don't know.
He gets another shot at it.
I don't know where his head's going to be at. I bet he takes not a year off, but like, I bet he just, cools the engine for a little bit. Okay, he is peaking right now. And he has been peaking for a few years because during COVID, he was ready every year for his race. And then 45 days before the race, it gets canceled. So he's been peaking a lot. And I bet he takes some time off, but he is 60 now, and he's in a new age bracket, and he's at the young end of that age bracket. Mm-hmm. So everyone he's competing in his age bracket against is like 2, 3, 4, 5 years older than him. All right, he's got some years. I think he can do it, but it takes a lot of time, discipline, a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
I really want to go to Kona. I don't when would I go to Kona again? I am not like him or
That's why I said if Scott gets in again, you could go then, but that all depends on him.
This one would be so much fun though, because his daughters are both going. By the way, Camille, I think it's public. If it's not, I'm sorry, but congratulations. Camille's pregnant.
Oh,
Scott's going to be a grandfather.
Congratulations.
Yeah, Scott will be a grandfather. It's a boy.
You better check with Scott before releasing this.
I'm not going to get to. It's okay.
No.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's good. It's out there. Eric just made the baby announcement. I don't think her friends are. I think who knows, who has to know knows. So I'll take the consequence on that one.
Gotcha.
Maybe I'll bleep it out.
Dun, dun.
So his daughters are going to be there. His brother's going to be there with his wife, Angela, and their 2 kids. They were so amazing. Spencer and Georgia. I really hope I got those names right. It's been a while. Spencer and Georgia. Yes, it is. They're going to be there. It's going to be weird because it's like 4 years since I've seen them, and you know how fast kids grow.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be there. And then we have a friend. Oh, we have a friend who lives there who we met at Cozumel, and it would be epic.
Dude.
But I can't do that. I can't do that to Ashley and I don't know. We'll see. There's 1 or 2 little things going on, and if it goes one way, maybe I could pull it off. But I don't know. It'd have to be a quick trip, and I would have to, get down there, cheer him on, get back. I really wouldn't get to be a tourist, but that's fine. But yeah,
decisions are hard.
And I'm like I'm doing another one. I mean, I'm so excited to be on the Reach the Beach team, but it's like, okay, this month is Reach the Beach. Next month is that. I can't keep doing these little things and getting away with it all the time. You know, I do think about this stuff when I say I want to do Reach the Beach or I want to go to your anchor down. I'm like, okay, I got it. Like this weekend, I pulled my weight.
You better be taking kid duty and let Ashley have some fun, too.
I had so much kid duty this weekend. No, well, let's not say kid duty. I took the boys quite a bit, and Ashley and Adeline went to Kimmy's Lake, and I had the boys all day today, and I said, all I want to do is record with you after, so I'm good until 8 o'clock. You know, I just want to record, and no, I'm trying to pull my weight so I can do these things, or I don't. Not that I can't do them, but just like
it's
I feel
balance, man.
I feel
you
guilt.
gotta find the balance.
Yes, it's a balance. It's a balance. So, I really do want to go to Kona. I know we're going long, but I want to talk about one more thing.
Yeah.
We signed up for a 5K, and I think in future episodes we're really going to get into this.
Yes.
And I really hope I'm pronouncing her name right. You know how I am with names. But this one looks so simple, but I'm so like, is it really what it is? Is it Jay?
I would think so. 5K for Jay.
5K for Jay. So personally, we don't know Jay, but we signed up for the 5K for Jay, and we're hoping we can help out. We're going to do whatever they need to help out. You know, we can maybe get them on, or we can at least do some promos like we did for Sarah's comedy night. But we're going to both run. You signed up, right?
I did sign up. I signed up today.
Okay. Did you use the team on the runs?
Yes, I did.
I want to do that more. It's always like, what team are you on? And I'm like, on the runs? Yes.
We're a team now.
We're going to do the 5K for Jay. It's on October 23rd.
Third?
Right. In Chichester.
We sound super confident about that, but I think you're right.
It's in Chichester. It's a Sunday. I think it's the same day as like a half marathon a lot of people are at.
Oh, the New England half.
Yes.
It is the same day as that. But
so if you looked up that, it's the same day. But
if you're not running the New England half, definitely consider this.
Come do a
5K.
Yeah, come do a 5K. We'll be there, and we're not there for us. We're there for Jay though. Jay needs it. She's going through a little bit right now in her life, and we'll get into that on another episode.
Yes.
So, anything else? Excited about Reach the Beach? Jay's on the team.
Yay! Welcome, Jay.
Another Jay. We might be confusing people now. Jays.
You should preface that. Yeah, Jay Parent. Welcome, Jay Parent.
Jay Parent.
It's gonna be fun.
He's in. I ran with him 6.5 miles the other day. Wyndham Rail Trail, by the way.
Yeah.
You can run a 10K without doing one road crossing on that trail.
Wow.
Right.
It's been a long time since I ran that segment.
We started at the Wyndham Depot, and you run 5K down to a gate, and then you turn around and run back. It was phenomenal. A lot of people on the trail that day. And did you see what I was doing?
I don't know.
I was vandalizing a little.
Oh, that was there. I did. I called you a vandal.
You know what? I only did it where other stickers were. I was putting some on the run stickers. I handed them to a few people, And if there was a sticker on a sign or something, I would put ours on the same sign. I was trying to be very respectful and clean. I wanted it to look neat, not like trash.
Just the fact that you run with stickers, like I would be afraid I'd be getting them all gross.
No, I did it in the parking lot in that area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but it wouldn't be hard with those little. That was the little 2x2s he bought. Like he got like 1,000 of those, so it was great. The good ones to do that.
I got a lot. Be ready, reach the beach. We're going to be handing those out like confetti.
They're like the stickers if you're skiing you'd throw on the lift, that size. I wouldn't waste the big and nice ones. But, well, I'm excited for Reach the Beach. It's our first ones, popping our cherry. I think we're going to be in the late van, which means we're going to be there late. We'll have to figure out dinner. Lena, you met Lena.
Oh, no, my stomach just totally gurgled, and I hope it didn't make the mic.
Oh, no way. Was that what your reaction was? Code Brown coming?
I mean, possibly. I just ate dinner like a half an hour ago.
Well, so Lena's team is having a huge pasta dinner, and she's like, well, maybe they all live up in the Plymouth area. They're like, maybe next year we could plan like the two of our teams getting together for pasta dinner. If I'm welcome back on Team PMS, so we'll see.
We'll see. I don't know. You're gonna have to fight Danielle for her spot back.
Well, she was spot 3 or 1?
Well, no, she's usually in my van. Well, she's on the team. She's been on it. I think we've been doing this for like 5 years now, so she's the OG.
Well, let's consider me always a reserve.
You gotta fight the OGs.
I'll always be a reserve, and I have something. I have a surprise for you and the team.
Okay.
And I am really excited about the surprise. It is complete. It just has to be ordered.
Okay.
And I'll give you a clue. Oh, no, I won't give you a clue. I'm just going to tell you one thing. It's not a banner.
Well, it better not be, because we already
I know.
We've got the penguin flag, and then we have our banner. So.
I know. So when I asked the group about a banner, if they needed one, I thought of something. It is fantastic. I'll tell you this. It is small, but everyone's going to have one.
Okay.
And I'm really excited, and I hope they'll be excited too. And I'm just trying to figure out when to tell you, how to tell you, and where. So I got to come up with that. It's probably going to be like when the whole team's together, but we'll figure that out. Maybe it will be the week of. Maybe the week of. I'll surprise you all the week of. So,
okay.
And
sounds good.
We will be back next week, everyone, right?
Yes.
We're good for next week? All right. So we'll have 3 straight weeks of On the Runs then, because we'll have Scott today, Mark next week, Reach the Beach the week after, and then we got to get back with Bethany and do that episode. So it's going to be a great fall. In October has some other great surprises for everybody.
It's going to be busy, because you got to catch me early, because once Reach the Beach happens, I am headed to Germany. I'm going on vacation. I'm running the Berlin Marathon. Then I'm home for a little bit, and then I'm going to Chicago. So it is going to start ramping up. So we got to do some real good scheduling.
Well, bring your microphone. And if you don't want to bring it, just bring those headphones you're wearing, because they have the little microphone in it. And we will talk virtually from Germany.
That's the best I can do, because I need all the space in my suitcase.
All right. I apologize, everyone, for this episode going long. But I love doing this. And thank you again, Erica, for doing it. If you don't follow us, you can on Instagram. We are at On The Runs. You can also check out Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. We are slowly growing those. You won't really be seeing me dancing much, but maybe I can get Erica to dance on TikTok. We'll see.
Reach the Beach is a weird time, so it's happened in the past.
We will take a lot of video content at Reach the Beach. I am so excited. So with that, I need to edit this podcast and put it together so everyone can listen to it tomorrow morning.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
And one last piece of advice I have for everyone: lock your doors.
You don't want to go through what he went through. Trust him. Trust him.
All right, Erica. And you probably will not get as lucky as me. I got so lucky to get my truck back. So keep your eyes out. If any of you see a bike on like Facebook Marketplace with one wheel, it's my bike. So let me know. Take us home, Erica.
You guys know the drill. Don't forget to stretch.
I just have to text Brandon so he doesn't be like, where the fuck is she?
Thank you, Brandon.